Warning, this was a blind reading, so I did not know what to expect. There are some gross acts in this fic, but thankfully the story does not go into great detail of said acts. Just so you guys know, this story is so awful, it made me do this. So good luck! Okay guys, this here is definitely the worst fanfiction yet. It's worse than Pudge the End of Pokemon, that's for sure. This one is called Prince Martin Willis II, official, unofficial, 7th member of the main 6. Well, let's just get right to it. After the utter and humiliating defeat of the Discord came a time of peace for Prince Martin Willis and the people of Ponyville. There was much sex and love, and also Twilight married Willis, but he was allowed to sleep with anything that needed help. This was all going to change when the Owl of Twilight appeared one day doing drugs and we were partying and having massive sex. "My owl is freaking high right now, I think," Twilight screeched with the loudness of a million lost hearts, and she was aptly upset and she visibly cried with unbelievable passion and raw emotion at the sight of the horror of the owl doing hard drugs like pot, not just like smoking cigarettes. "I always knew I was the better assistant to you," said Spike, squeezing her plot and understanding that she was going through a hard time, so leaving it at just one squeeze. P.S. I let him do that because we are tight. Openly, I disdained him for the comment of cruel and unacceptable misdirection of hatred over his rival, and stuck my tongue out for the pleasing of Twilight's nerves to be much eased. But Spike and I high-fived because we are buds, and that was the truth, and it was funny. Also guys, my cutie mark is no longer a portal gun because I have defeated the Discord and saved Equestria with it. So it became the heads of the main 6 since my goal is to make them feel sexy. I am still orange with blue stripes and still have all the powers of the gun though. Also, I still have one secret power that no one knows left for special use within the later part of this. The owl was marked for terrestrial switching since the entry of our world was inside of us all, and he understood the power of being awake with knowledge, and it was misbegotten with fear of the people that surrounded us in our everyday life of horror and boredom. I comforted her, and secret high-fived Spike with much winking, and motioned if he had gotten lucky with Rarity since the summoning, and he bunny speaked. We did that now since I traded lessons in love with Rarity Cat to Angel Bunny for it. Back that yeah, it was so. And it was so. Then, appointing my attention to my wife Twilight, whom I loved the best, I made her understand with a hug and some French kisses and a squeeze below and above on her tingling body that her owl was probably just going through a phase and that everyone that does hard drugs once to see the feeling that it causes for the Equestria. "You are so freaking smart, Martin," she bowed sexily with her mane and whispered, playing with my hair, "that is why I love you," and slightly caused me to be mildly upset and annoyed to a tiny amount of being a little mad, but I let it slide because she had had a long morning. Finding the owl OD'd on pot. That night we had all the main 6 and Celeste over for a sleepover at the order of her, and Celeste brought Nightmare Moon. "My students, fuck off. I must talk to Willis in the deepest of secret aloneness," she decreed with a massive voice of booming authority and a stamp of massive proportions that uncontrollably made us all be controlled to obey. "Willis," she spoke in a sexy voice tickling my ear and guts and tail and mane and hooves and nose, and I sheepishly blushed and coyly hugged her. "Hi, Lessie." "Hi, Martin." She blushed back with beet red cheeks and having breasts because we always were close, just not like Twilight and me. Because Twilight is purple, and that is a cooler color than white, and even Lessie knew of such things as the hard truth of the matter despite our deep connection and forever love. "Nightmare Moon is having a bad day, and she loves you since you saved the world, and wants to be with you super quick if that is okay." I squeezed her plot and gave her the thumbs up sign with one hand while touching her pony boobs with the other, which meant we were cool, and I asked if Spike could come, since we tend to share everything. It will be as you shall want it, Martin, and I hereby command you, my student, to go make love to Nightmare Moon. Also, I replaced Twilight as her favorite because we all agreed that was better, since I really was better than all the main 6 combined. I kissed Nightmare Moon's butt and rubbed her other place in all 6 of her boobs. She had 6 boobs because she is a pony nympho that she got from transfusion, and we made love to Spike's help, who licked us both all the way from inside our noses to the outer ring of our hooves sexily. Oh crap, that is freaking good, dude! She used the Canterlot's voice, and we had the most awesomely extreme and tasteful groupgasm in existence to ever touch Ponyville. Suddenly, the main 6 burst through, following by Celeste. It is freaking terrible, Martin, screamed Celeste, weeping and batting her wings and waving her hair while lifting her arms skyward with fear that twisted the joy from our loving and caused us to be deeply distressed with woe. The owl is awake, and he is super high, and has a freaking spell book. We are royally screwed, my students. She yawned, and we cried, and I moaned in horror. And Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash shut their ears to withhold the knowledge of sadness from them, and Twilight and Fluttershy and Celeste hugged and kissed and played with each other and wept, for what appeared to be the final time, and Applejack drank some cider and patted my back and comforted me, while I stared into my hands thinking about the fate of us, and shut my mind to the terrible fate that would undoubtedly destroy the future of happiness momentarily. The owl burst through insanely spitting, and he was on the pot, and we fell asleep. My dream happened. This has come to pass now, Martin. My dream spoke in an eerie voice like ponified Morgan Freeman, and your days of being at peace with the universe are about to be very changed up. Things will be different in a way that will prevent them from being the same again. I woke up sweaty and grasped at the mane of Twilight. Who slept next to me when the owl had come breathing into it for comfort, and because it calmed us both. This is the worstest news that has ever happened, I cried mightily and screamed like an anguished beast in mortified horror. What is the issue, Martin? Twilight sleepily hugged me to comfort, asked in mild surprise. You will not freaking believe this crap, I screeched hoarsely. Because I just had an unbelievable dream featuring the voice of a famous dude who was on the Earth back when I lived there and not in Equestria as your boyfriend. Suddenly, the owl appeared, and it was smoking pony diamond shards because weed was no longer stronger enough. Whoo, it said somewhat lazily, and because your dream means it's going to be a horrible accident in the future, it smoked the pot hard. That is some perfect knowledge, I agreed, and Twilight seconded my agreeing with the owl, and we kissed him slightly to show our gratitude, but without tongue, because he still pot smoked despite our disapproval. I stroked his feathers seductively to tame him, and shined his beak with my love of animals, and then everything got bad as losing the tournament at Portal to my loser friend Jack Renton, who was mean for no reason, even if it was his Xbox, because he was a dick and I came up with the idea to go there and have a tournament, not him, so he should grow up and die because he is a slut puppet. And he only won because I am over Portal now, much more into the main 6, who are not stupid like Jack Renton, whose last name also sucks. No! Twilight cried with ecstasy and strife in a moment of tense horror, and her hooves covered her pony place. What have you done, foul-rate typer, compared to Spike? She screamed. I wondered the issue and moved her hands. My jaw dropped like thunder, and I widened my eyes and cried blood. "Twilight, you have a man stick!" I looked around and saw so did the rest of the main six. Celeste didn't, and neither did Nightmare Moon, but still it was bad. "He has done the worst curse spell from my secret book of spells that go towards those who hate you, Martin." Ever Twilight, she sat down and raised her arms, her mane, and her tail lifted up in a shame, and worst of all, lost hope, and she grayed like she did in the first episode with Discord. "He cast on us all, Dicus Creatus, and I cannot switch it back." I hugged her, avoiding her unpony and unwife-like bulge. Thus suddenly I really wanted to go see Spike because we are bros and can shed tears over this together and just be cool. Chapter 2. It was a day of Spike knowledge, and we were being cool bros while figuring the understanding of what took place with the shock of the scary owl on drugs. "Martin, we are fing in for it. They are all dudes now, and that kills our power quest." His tail switched with considerable force, and he giggled in shame at the mock plot and sad life things we were dealing with. Because Twilight is now fing-dicked, and I could not be with her like was planned for the happy ever after. Just when we were supremely down, Nightmare Moon appeared, covering her eyes steadily and giggling shyly into her hoof hair. "Martin, we should get going, Kay?" She sauntered in with total jolly, confusing our sad time with her pleasurable aspect and complete, untainted plot. "I cannot!" I screamed most mightily and bit at my lower lip while eyeing her fine curved pony butt and multi-boobs with total jealous fit rage. I am overwhelmed by the situation that things are getting a little weird. Spike felt it with me, 'cause we are tight, and he gave me a pat that stated it was okay, dude. "It is okay, dude," he said, then whimpering with his lower lip jutted out in unmatchable sadness like super horrible extreme defeat that was undesirable beyond the expectation of our luck. "Things have gone to crap since we found the main six ding-donged. It sucks fing hardcore." She nodded understanding and rubbed her entire self across my chin with a grimace that made me kaboom with power all the way. "We should totally make out till you two total bros feel better, dude." She then shied and went red. "Only I've never done it with a dragon, except the last time we did. So be gentle, Spike." She kicked a foot shyly and then made out with Spike, licking her all over and saturating her body with his scaled tail. He grinned, and we were totally set. "F yeah, we should," Spike high-fived me and clapped to immense pleasure at the prospect of princess loving. "We are so the heroes of the world, and we need this, especially since your wife is pretty screwed." I agreed with immense coax, and I took the hint and began to climb inside of her face, and we tongue-loved while Spike creating her lower belly into a spell of weak-fitted mesmeration of amazement. It did not last long, and I quickly removed myself with utmost care to the privacy of perfected love-making beyond the understanding of considerate care for them. Still going at it, I sulked sadly up to Celeste, squeezing her plot intensely for the backup and trust and power we shared. "I am ruined because of that stupid owl!" I raged with my hands turned at the sky while created lightning to bring effect and please me like I was in a mortal moment of sadness, like in Batman where his parents almost do. "Let us see the apple farm for wisdom, and they can catch up after their pony love." She nodded towards the room. Exemplary Spike and coy but totally nimp Nightmare Moon and Nibble bit my face, and we cuddled to extreme warmth and multi-faced moment of brief new boyfriend-girlfriend love and boomed to the barn. Suddenly, Granny Smith was there, and she had a jar of something explainable before us. "This is a new jelly. Eat it," she said with pride that rivaled herself with mass intro. We ate it, and remarked to her with much love that it tasted really good. And it did, so we won on that part. Then came the hard part. Granny Smith the owl has ruined us. Celeste wept to torment the tears that leaped across her face and into the dirt. She swept into Granny and poured on her deepest self, onto the aged mare's body, letting it reek into her skin and becoming as if of her. We are ruined unless you can shed knowledge on how to reverse the spell. I heaved her plot against my plot so that she could feel more comfortable, and she sat on me while I caressed her, and while she kissed my doubly back. When Lessie was comfortable and turned on for being on me, yet not being able to control a thing about my movements or hers, Granny Smith went on. Go find Cadence and Twilight's brother Shiny One. She and he will know his stuff. She fell asleep, and Celeste and me made coy tempt boyfriend-girlfriend love. I touched her boobs and rubbed her face till she laughed at the joyous occasion became overwhelmed to be together. What? She fulfilled beyond her steady stares and hugs, only I could not be fulfilled. She precisely Spike appeared with Nightmare Moon, and they joined in. Still, it was nothing, so I ran away and cried. Suddenly, noticing the main 6 on my cutie mark, I eyed myself unsatisfied because I couldn't come before because my issues get hard, and with tears that brought down my face, with excruciating sadness that filled me with discord like despair. I started to molest myself with pitiable ecstasy and exhaling grunts of bliss. Suddenly Spike came by. Dude, what the fuck is your problem? He was angered to the foam, and his breath stenched of flames, and his claws gnashed in tiny grasps of gigantic problem. Because you are leaving me to love all the ponies while you screw yourself, and while I enjoy screwing the princesses and sleeping Granny 'cause she asked and making them pleased with my tongue, I am only a fing dragon, and I don't have a massive horse weenie like you. He clenched in rage and spit flames at me. I cried with my hands uplifted in defense, fear at his behavior. You did not come with the rest of us, dude! He roared like a griffin with toast, and his tiny scaled back beat against the sun with bloated fury. What is wrong with you, man? Stop it, Spike! Stop, okay? Just stop! I shamefully trotted his way, and seductively handled his spikes between my fingers, wiping his tail around my horse plot. I whispering into his smoke-covered ears with a laugh, I tickled his thoughts with my sexy voice. I don't know, Spike. I whispered with pleasure, and he blushed heavily. Maybe I am sad, and we can't screw ponies together because of the thought that my wife Twilight now has a freaking dick, you idiot! I grabbed him with speed faster than Applejack running, Rainbow Dash flying combined, and flung him at the Sweet Apple Acres wall. He splatted into a billion broken bones and passed out. Dude, what the heck? He stretched his head sorely, peeved and upset, and full of deep dislike of the most equal kind, because there is no hate in Equestria. We are bros, man. Just tell me next time, and be cool, but don't just leave me to love all the girl ponies alone, man. He pointed to my butt, and its cutie maker fingers curled out with spiteful air. Just look at their heads when you are feeling about to do that way. You can get a boost from the sexy faces of the main 6. Okay, this guy writing this has issues. I thought that was an okay exception to instead of having to molest me, so we became fast friends again. He kissed me on the cheek in friendship. I just don't like you sad is all. He wiped a tear from his face, and I could tell it was the complete kind of intolerable seriousness. Because we are deep bros, and that is more than meets the eye. He brushed a claw against my cheek and cleared my tears away. No friend was needed else but him. Just then, suddenly, when we got back, Granny came with important news that would rend my reality with an unthinkable realization that would carry me beyond what I thought available to my thoughts. I give you this, okay? She threw Appletini at me. I could only shrunk and de-dick only one pony with my ancient wisdom, and I did Applejack, since she is used to getting small, and because she is family and we are close. Applejack who was now re-shrunk and named for that as Appletini, sipped some tiny cider and nodded sympathetically, full of understanding. She will be your guide on things in case bad stuff happens while you go. Remember, there is not a single thing that can be overcome if you put an apple into it. Then she slept, but not before deeply gazing at me with intense study of my character for a moment of brief trust that stretched across her face and echoed into my complete ideal self that she recognized and pulled free. "See Zecora, she will give you a pet maybe," she said after looking me up and down with knowledge only old ponies have. I agreed that was probably smart. Appletini sipped the cider and nodded, totally agreeing with her too. "I'll be in your pocket if you need me, y'all." She jumped into my pocket and I finger high-fived her since she was technically teeny and my whole hand would crush her, so she could feel the super kind of special togetherness only a pocket pal can get. "Yes, Pocketini, Appletini," we laughed, and inside of my thoughts I was super pleased, because while Celeste and Nightmare Moon were great, no one was my guide yet. All right. I ran out of time to write this, so I meet Zecora, nabbed my dugong next chapter in surprise. After that, we will continue to head to the Crystal Mountain, deep in the upper edge of Equestria. I will also learn to make love again with better skills, and the power of the main six is my cutie mark. Also, Celeste and I become official, while Nightmare Moon becomes super jealous and tries to fight me for supreme love that I offer while Twilight is stuck being uncured. Spike will soon become the official temp boyfriend of Nightmare Moon 2, while Rarity is uncured, so it works out in a pleasurable way that most cannot see. Oh god, there's more. Okay, chapter 3. How long is this? I don't know how long this is. Wow. In the air, I was riding on the back of Leslie, and my best effing friend Spike was on the back of Nightmare Moon, and we were heading to visit the caves of Zecora in the ever-freed forest to mulch my pet and stab ideas into the minds of our weak-built passion quest of fabulous, saving odd, saving the main six of horrible Dickus spell, and began to fly with steady readiness to the ice castle where the brother of Twilight and Cadence the Wise live and night dance. Suddenly, Pocketini appeared from my pony fashion that Rarity made, and she asked quite steadily, "Howdy, what is with y'all, Martin, and how is your past superb to affect the meagerness of pony in the world we feature here? Because you don't understand." I wept mightily tears of my conquest, and steadied the back of Celeste's plot for better love flight and sighed. I rubbed her belly seductively, and in all friendliness, picking with great care that furthered her up in my fingers, we best friends squeezed. I am the hero of Earth before I got sent here. It was nostalgic, and I closed my eyes to let floods of dreams in daytime come to my vision of back thought. Pocketini sipped the cider and waitered. I remembered what it was like in the past as a game player of Portal. I know you said no portals, but the game is the past of him, and it must be slightly here to give him flavors. I was champion of every tournament ever made for the game, and because epic of the skill that possessed my hands with fire of mad skill, scientists studied the way that I was genius. They gave me the gun and whispered with long feathered fingers angling deep into my back. They whispered in teeth of chattering hush, and their long black hair seduced in the breeze like violated strings, and they hissed with awe. Their eyes were the largest black sphere of penetrating doom, and they were stroking chins and buttoning their coats slowly. "Willis, this will be the saving of you in the future. Of not now, but maybe even a new world of different epic stature." The scientist's hands caressed my good-to-believe epic skills body and new gun they had made, and they whispered words with surprise, like wonder of being alone with summer in daylight, and they quietly added to themselves, It is epic. He is perfect. Super awesome prince. Then one of them chuckled with pleasure, and wrapping his arms about me tickled me with sweetness, and said, "Things will be different probably, and 'cause you do not quite be assured." His tongue licked the skin of my cheek, and he splat his fingers on the gun they gave me, and his glasses sparked to reveal passionate eyes. "You are now to be called Prince Martin Willis, King of Portals and Traveler of Worlds." Then he poison-gassed me to sleep and kicked me into the Equestria hole. "Go and conquer, Prince of Awesome." Then they all went velvet green. I came from the dream, and Pochettini sipped the cider. "That was a cool but deep story, y'all," she sighed. "Do not tell anyone else more, y'all, till I can discover the meaning of this as the guide of your pony howdy." She finger high-fived me in coolness and then bucked away back into the pocket of me, and I shrugged with epicness. Suddenly, Celeste began to cry, and she flitted to the ground and screeched horrendous noises and rubbed a hoof against her thigh and boobs. "This is too effing much, my students." She let me unmount onto her, and she wailed into the rocks and trees about us as she lifted her arms with rage that bulged her veiny muscles to perplexed fashionable sexy lines, and her plot weaved around with tears. "I am effing lost because I suck at flying long unknown ways around this place." Nightmare Moon and Spike dispersed to do some stuff and look at weeds, and I ran to comfort the Princess Lessie. I fingered her hair and grabbed her horn and kissed it to release her sadness. "I am just social right now," she cried with a thunderous appall, and realizing we had achieved boyfriend-girlfriend status, we made out and gave each other love till we orgasmed. This does not count as what you call to be stupid plot, because we are together only when it was emotional. "Willis!" It was Celeste, and she was misjudging. "We must find the path." We wheeled and only untongue-kissed like regular ponies. We made second love, and as we finished, suddenly Zecora showed up. "Prince Martin Willis, you must come and visit my house. Come so that we can come, and I give you a pet that will come, and then we will tell you to come to find where in the ice the brother of Twilight and Cadence come, and what to do with all your problems." Here is the less adjective, simple-worded, unplotted past of Willis that you begged with flecks of spickle and deriving comments of valiant hate that twisted my abundance of skill to your mired dirt dream of meh. Despite the plot damage that you caused to the story by adding those bad rules, it became unfathomably full of how, so I just guess that is good at least. Next chapter, I will visit the hut of Zecora, and then Lessie and I probably will find the crystal exit during emotional love, to be a trial that will be weird but good. Also, I will get some good advice from Pochettini, and Spike will rage about the shortness, while Nightmare Moon will try to get him to be her temp boyfriend's servant. Chapter 4. Zecora's cave was the best, most evil-looking good guy cave with mountainish eyes that stole the bowls of seals and perpetuated nightmares in the fears of the best corrosive vats made to destroy the ugliness of creatures. Effing, this is my cave, and you can see that shit is everywhere that can be. She was totally depressed, so I squeezed her butt cheeks together and she licked her stripe. It okay, because I am Prince Martin Willis, and we have all come for directions to Cave of Twilight's brother and Cadence in the Ice Kingdom. I kissed her assuredly, and stroked her zebra hair, and Spike joined in, and rubbed her legs while. "This is a pet for you, and enjoy it, you." Zecora handed me a dugong, and it meeped. "His name is Louis the Dugong, and he is awesome and long." She rhymed like an expert, and we made love and Celeste's help on the floor, and I whipped her hair across of her face, and Leslie rubbed her boobs, and Zecora screamed with pleasure, and we all orgasmed. Wow, You are good at making love. I wish we could make love all day and just make love. She slicked back the sweat of her with her thumbs and stood up casually. The dugong has a help for you when you need him too. I thanked her, and suddenly Spike burst in, and he was flaming mad. Effing, I cannot make this bullcrap anymore, Willis. I thumbed up him as best effing friends, but he was totally depressed and fired off results at me and told me it was useless effort, like screaming into a back of a lecherous mechanical vibration. He screamed with the rage of a violent Neanderthal pony with blood in his eyes, and he smoked air into circles. Effing, I hate being small, and Nightmare Moon told me to be her slave, because I am her tiny fashion disc. He raged like violent thunderclouds, emitting whips of sunshine through the hair of his misdirected feats of vertical illusion. Willis, your magic of portals and lengthened me to the epicness of ponies like to be as you are to be lengthened. He clawed his face apathetically and tortured his vision with the boo-hooing that caused even the teaseful Nightmare to blush. I smacked her plot assuredly and told Leslie, my current GF, to go ahead and please her to being calm again, like it was the blow of Spike's Zecora. Suddenly, Zecora had a potion, and it filled with blue ooze that pussed out of it and licked up the wood of the floor. He must eat this to be tall. It will suck, and he will see that being tall is not for him to be. She opened his mouth by the tickles Nad stuck the bottom through his throat. He screamed a cry that caused his tears to croak between his smoking face, and his hands reached upward to ward the vileness of a potion from the throat in his lips. Effing no! It was he had worse feared. With clearness to the piranha squeals, and he floundered through the fright of his screaming squares of Critine. Effing no! He screeched and shocked miasma and roared away with the bling of a billion maracas. It is not in me to be tall anymore. Just find out where we are going because my size is perfect and we should find the cure to undick the main six, he cried empathetically, and Celeste nodded. My students, this is a rip-roaring good thing to be ideating for. She winked with magic, and Spike rubbed his tongue across her cutie mark and through her plot and into the sparkles of her mane. She blushed, and they made quieting love while I also loved the Nightmare Moon, to soften of her to be the goodest, most griffin girlfriend of Spike. Zecora nodded, pleasing herself, she touching her boobs till we all orgasmed in the joy that extasiated ourselves skyward to float like thunderclouds across the sky to shoot out lightning with pleasure as our bolt of violent wheezing deep in love that realized our fears being alone with a complete oneness allowed us to be procured. She spoke with heavy. They are straight north like for a day. So we left with Pocketini, Prince Martin Willis, Celeste, Nightmare Moon, and my pet Louie the Dugong. Next chapter, we meet the brother of Twilight and fight with Cadence, and I learn to uncast Dickus Creatus, and I discover the secret of my new Cutie Mark powers that have yet to be discovered by the amazingness I know. Chapter 5. When we got to the northernmost port of everything created with blissful high-yacking and incomparable silly shine bright focus, there was the house of village of the brother of Twilight and Cadence the Wise. Using alicorn magics, Leslie commanded the door to unfurl like a sail when shot against the breeze of a sea turtle's heartbeat amid torrents of screaming and defiant bloodbaths of gushing horrors. We quadded the door with a thick plot bump, and it shot open to reveal quite openly with harsh awareness. It creaked together as we smacked it to openness, and we all did four-way tongue-kissing love to charge me up for the asking of wisdom from Cadence. Then with unbelievable vision, we saw that Cadence was not the person we perceived her to be, achieving in the north of the life of Ponyville with the pony crystalness. She abused Twilight's brother with a whip when we entered, and she was coated in black like an executioner. Effing, I told you not to touch my effing things, you mother effing butthole effing batty monkey weenie. She smacked him hard in the jaw, and he whimpered pleasurous against her with his tail and rubbed his clamp-lipped face against her body. Cadence, my student! Celeste was boiling to the hard core, and she shook like thunder dragged against her figure, and she hugged me tightly, and I backed her up and licked between her ears for comfort and support. She gave me a nod and rubbed our boobs together, then spoke again. Effing leave off your defiance and answer how to uncast the Dickus Creator spell. She was shocked to shame and said, You have to say Dickus Uncreatus and it will undo it. She whipped her husband hard and he whimpergasmed. But you have to effing do it right before a week is up, or the pleasure... What? Oh, or the cure is invalid and the spell becomes forever, and the people affected with its maddening obsession dicked for life. She disgusted at everyone and sat on her sexy small plot, kicking the brother of Twilight absently with an echoing sigh. I glanced at my watch and saw an oh no face to Celeste. That is tonight! We wept mightily because of the knowledge of never go back in time. And I rubbed her tears against me. Spike and Nightmare Moon roared angrily, with Spike crying at the thought of never ever 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 again getting to kiss and make love to Rarity because her body had been destroyed with a pee-pee. Then an idea came from the pocket I concealed as my guide's hideout. Howdy, and wait y'all, it was Pocketini, and she had some knowledge to dispense our way. She sipped the cider. Because y'all cutie mark is changed, so it must mean power. And if we all make love to charge it like last time, then it should bucking activate the skills you hide in your new cutie mark. We finger-fived again and winked. Pocket Pal Guide friends forever are the best friends in the world for looking out for you. So we all group loved, with desperate attention and fanatical slobber against squishing moist body and anguished ripe hearts of pony love. Our tongues collided with violent heat and crackled and flared like fire being drawn out of a flame with a poker. I squeezed the boobs of Nightmare Moon, and Spike licked my and Celeste's head, and Nightmare Moon joined Cadence with the defeating with the pleasure of Twilight's brother, and Twilight's brother made love to Celeste, and we all orgasmed to deep achievement. Then it happened. My butt glowed, and the main six stepped out of their heads on my cutie mark and onto the crystal domain of Cadence the Wise. I had the power of summoning them as my new skill. Quickly, my effing student Martin, Celeste squeezed my shoulders and rubbed her hair in my face, returned them to awesome. She cried silently, though, and I looked into her eyes and saw that she was saddened with regret of fears we faced, and that tomorrow our boyfriend-girlfriend status would be over, and I would be married again, and unreachable except if she needed love for cheering up. Lessie, what about us? I was unsure. She wrapped her arms around me, and sighing tears that racked her body to a dispelled ship-like crash, as she whispered into the wind that entered my ear, she said, My student, I command you to save them. Then she took Nightmare Moon and flew speedy quick to go get the cute crusaders to get a party ready for our triumphant return. I wept with loss of perfect princess love, untethered from her sun of welcome sky brightening day, and sighed. She was a good princess. Undickus Creatus! I screeched with a sigh as she commanded. Then, after napping and renewed main six love, now that they had girl pony parts again, and we took the brother of Twilight Cadence and the main six baked home. So we did. The world was saved again by me, and I broke up with Lessie to be the husband of Twilight again, but we knew our love for each other in that time was magnificent, like stars in Generation of Midnight Hues of. And Spike didn't break up with Nightmare Moon, though, and kept her on the side for much good loving and secret awareness for when Rarity Fashion threw him out for being somewhat of a dick. Pogatini grew to regular and sipped the cider with me, but the owl was still lost in drug-induced and light-and spelled trouble casting, and our future in Equestria was about to be very changed indefinitely. To be continued, and the third and final book coming when I write it. The end. Oh my god, that was the absolute worst one yet. This was really freaking dumb. Oh, that sucks. What the hell is wrong with this person? Why would he write 5 chapters of this? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my really long reading, because it lasted like 40 minutes, something like that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my really long fanfic reading, and maybe I can do a live one day. Who knows?
What the hell is that?